box jumps to power up your boxing performance.
When you've got a large group, like we have today, maybe minimal space to be able to do altitude landings, you can do stick landings. Up onto our toes, drop down into the power position. So the power position for the short ground contact time work was balls to your feet, heels just off the floor. Now we're wanting to engage the hamstrings, the glutes and the quads. So we're going to, boom, pop them heels to the floor now. So we're going to start up tall, drop down, and hold that position. And you can attack that with a little bit more intensity. So once you get used to it, get used to being in that power position, up onto the toes, drop down quick. Up onto the toes, drop down quick. So it's being able to absorb force as quickly as we can. The best way to do this is to do altitude landings, okay? So that's why we're going to be stepping on the box, step off, control that position. We step off with one foot, dropping and we're controlling that force as soon as we can. Tipping the hips back, knee on line with the toes, heels solid on the floor, and the core is tense, okay? Arms are forward for balance. What you don't want to see, I'll do this on the smaller box, is stepping off, being as light as we can, dropping into it. That's not us absorbing force. So when I first started strength and conditioning, I got told to land softly as you can. But when you're landing softly, like that, not really absorbing force effectively. So we want to be solid. But also, we don't want to do this. Whereas two upright, knees going over toes, joints are taking that impact force there. So we can obviously increase the demand on this by increasing the height. We get athletes going off the full stack. Obviously, we've got limited space for the roof, so they're like that, like Gollum coming off the end of it. But that's probably the most effective way to increase the force demands by increasing the height. We can also add some weight. The only problem with adding the weight is with dumbbells going to the side, when you land, we're likely to see is this lack of posture because there's not that strong through the posterior shoulder. There's a lot of force coming down that they've got to deal with, and they're going to drop into this position. So a good way is to do the med ball. That looked like a magic trick then. You didn't know that the med ball were behind. Have the med ball. And we're controlling that force straight away. Key to use in here is to make sure that an athlete is pushing into the floor straight away, because what you're likely to see is this. They do the rep, pop out, and they walk around. What we want to see is that force absorption into the floor. Basically, you can cue an athlete by just pushing them. Come on, give me more. Give me more. Give me something more than that. Give me some respect. So we're here, dropping in, and we're solid there, okay? I'm having to screw my feet into the floor, my legs are switched on, my core switched on as well. The progression from that would be to do a lateral shuffle, challenge that force control a little bit more. It's getting a little bit more from the glutes, but also the athlete is going to buy into it a little bit more because there's a little bit of lateral shuffling there. Because if you're doing 5-6 weeks of this, altitude landings, you're going to have to try and freshen it up in some way. Control, then we're pushing across. Making sure that we're solid on that second one, yeah? Instead of popping up. So there, drop in, and there. There, drop in. Where were you? Box jumps. Now, box jumps can be a little bit hit and miss in terms of why and how athletes use them. Stepped away from box jumps just because you can see that athletes not getting what the adaptation is. They're wanting to try and stack up the box, trying to just basically not get onto as big a box as they can. Key mistakes that I'll see is athletes having a run up onto it, starting off in a standing position, dipping and then going. The go-to thing for boxers is to use this foot complex. A little dip and then go. But what we were looking for, which can be used, and do use it with a purpose. Use it with an athlete that actually needs to be working through the feet a little bit more. I'm wanting from this is to get powerful quads, hamstrings, and glutes. So I'm wanting to utilize that just like I would do a counter movement jump. Making sure that it's a counter movement jump, dip, drive, then we're jumping onto the box. We can increase it with box height, but also we can increase it with weight. Weighted vest might be good. Another good tool to use is med ball. Probably wouldn't suggest to use dumbbells because if you're missing, you've got dumbbells in your hands, you're going to fall forward. So you've got the med ball here, dip, drive, pull it, push it forward, then pull it back into your chest. Pull it back in. You can also go from a seated position, get over it that little bit, arms back, drive it through. It's really going to challenge that concentric force. But also with this, let's say our main job is to get that eccentric. We're obviously losing that on this one. We're starting from a dead start. So you can add the eccentric in by doing a little stamp on the floor. There, stamp, and explode. So there.
Okay.
It's almost like you're doing your stick landing. Drop, and then go. Yeah, give that a go. Drop. That's it. Good. More hips. More hips, yeah. Push your hips back, yeah. That's it. Good. Aggressive as well, yeah. Yeah, good. Nice work. Well done, man. But I like people to be here first. Take your feet just off the floor and drive up from there, yeah? That's it. See it a little bit harder. You weren't using your body weight to go into it. It's going to be much harder for you to produce that force starting from there. So there, lean over it. Yeah, good. So a little bit of emphasis on rocking backwards and forwards. It's very hard to do that from a dead start. Good, power. Get to the edge a little bit more and start from there. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. And you feel it a lot more in your legs. When you rock it, almost like, yeah, using your momentum to go forward. Yeah. Yeah, good. You still wanted to use that body weight? Yeah, it's difficult. Next up is our drop jumps. So we're overloading the eccentric even more now because we're starting from height. We're going to go with an arm swing here to just support ourselves, especially going through that amortization phase, transferring from the eccentric to the concentric. So we're dropping down, then we're driving up. A target for athletes is to be 10% above their maximum jump height and to then be able to hit their maximum jump height. So dropping in, driving up, too much horizontal displacement. So try and stay on the spot, yeah? So obviously you can use coach's eye to see whether it stays on line with the box, or you can get a device. Good. So that we're a little bit shy of that. Okay. Arm swing. Arms out in front as you go down. Swing the arms back, drive them through. Dip and drive. Yeah, loads better. Well done. You see some athletes that might struggle with eccentric. You prescribe them 10% above, give them feedback, actually they're not hitting the right amount of jump height. So you've got to build them up. Sometimes I see people doing it way too high. Majority I see people doing it way too low, where you're not actually loading them up that much. Hit the 100% jump height to start off with, then go for the 10%. Boxing is horizontal. We're wanting to work vertical impulse because basically the action from the legs is majority vertical, and then we transfer it into horizontal through the torso and through the fist. Really, broad jumps don't have a lot of transfer to that, but it can have a lot of transfer to athletic actions such as sprinting. We know that we need to get better sprinting because that can essentially get us fitter. So broad jumps can be used. However, the problem with broad jumps is when people do jumps, try and jump as far as they can. We know boxers struggle with the landing mechanics. Then we're adding a huge horizontal momentum into that. Knees are going to go way over toes. And they end up being in a pretty vulnerable position. So we want to avoid that. I'll drop a little bit off my jump. Get a good landing. But what's happened to my jump? It's shorter, so I'm not going to be as forceful. Reason why I want to do jumps is to become more forceful and increase rate of force development. If I'm sacrificing some intent through here to get a better landing, I'm not meeting what the demand of the exercise is. So I can manipulate it a little bit. Easiest way to do it is to do an altitude landing into a broad jump. I've got some vertical impulse properties here. As I'm coming down, I'm controlling force. Because I'm overloading that eccentric, it's going to be harder for me to then jump into the broad jump. So I'm still having to produce a lot of force, but I'm not getting as much distance. So then the output of the landing is going to be a lot safer. So that first broad jump that I did, where I did max effort, my landing mechanics weren't great. This is a max effort one, dropping in, driving through. Does that look better? Looks loads better. Resistance through the bands, there, and then through. So drop through into the altitude landing, there, and then through. Good. Giving the athlete a little bit of leeway. So what we're saying to Ben to walk with me is because the resistance happens here. It doesn't happen at the end. Drop in. Again, it's a maximum effort, but the output has been significantly reduced. Okay guys, so that's the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. If you are wanting to find out more about our coaching techniques at Boxing Science, go and check out the Ultimate Coaching for Combat Sports workshop. This is the most popular strength and conditioning workshop in boxing and combat sports, where we break down the boxing science training methods that's used with world champions. This has been delivered in multiple locations around the world. Now you can get access with just a click of the button. This is brand new, it's insightful, and it's going to take your coaching and your knowledge of sports science in boxing and combat sports to the next level. Up-to-date research and training techniques presented in online webinars, practical demonstrations, and a 100-page ebook jam-packed full of information and our boxing science training secrets. If you're interested in this, go and check out the link in the description, and you can also get 20% discount using this discount code Ultimate Coach 20. You can get access to this course at a much cheaper price. Okay guys, so that's the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button so don't miss out on any future content, including workouts, breakdowns of the training champions, and also your Q&A sessions. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully see you on the next video at Boxing Science.